There are at least 7 known gateways to hell across the world. One of them is in the mountains of West Virginia. The region has no name. The Hangman is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. It was written and directed by Bruce Wemple, who's done horror films in the past. Check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work. This is also written by and stars LeJohn Woods as Leon. Sorry, Resident Evil 4 took over, but no President's Daughter, no zombies being suplexed and roundhouse kicked, and no Chainsaw Man coming in to We do get a chainsaw at one point later in this movie, but no man wielding it, as hilarious as that would have been. That movie has a man wielding a chainsaw. Watch that. But yes, the Hangman. You do have Leon and Jess Marcellus. They are father and son. They go into the Appalachian Mountains to camp. And let's just say the Appalachian Mountains, kind of known for being a little bit absolutely backwoodsy. I've never actually been to the Appalachian Mountains, but I've heard enough stories, horror stories and otherwise. That's why you stay out of there unless you're a local. But at the behest of a client who basically Leon realizes, hey, this is going to work out great. Okay, there's a tragic backstory that we find out about his father-son combination. And they're going to work through that. Right after Leon finds Jesse after Jesse goes missing the next day. And then he runs into locals that are trying to kill him, and then other locals that tried to kill him. And then one local named Tara, played by Lindsay Drisbach, who I do have to say is quite lovely. She is offering to help him. And also, there is a character called the Hangman in a movie called The Hangman. Boy, that's goddamn detail. I didn't expect in this. But yes, you have some bloodthirsty cultists, and you also have some very, very, kind of goofy Hangman, makeup stuff, and you also have rope, and you have some barbed wire, and you have some stuff at this point in spoopy, basic, generic horror movie. So, yeah, when you look at the premise for this and look at the poster, you might think that this could be a fun yet stupid horror movie. It's one of those. It's not the fun part. Even though I tried to have fun as the film got more ridiculous and just said, fuck it, we're just going to basically throw the adder out the goddamn window and we're going to have a monkey do the adding. Because at this point, I cannot explain how a movie got this bad. This movie was awful. Absolutely awful. And while I'm sure everybody tried their goddamn best, near the end of this movie, like the third act, they just said, fuck it, we're just going to basically just throw every horror cliche and every ridiculous thing at the goddamn window, at the wall, till the sweat dropped down my balls, till all these bitches fall, and all the Hangman motherfuckers, all Hangman goddamn. Boy, that was really terrible. I am 43 years old, nearly 44 years old, and white trying to do that. But yeah, when you have a man that also is one of the writers, or somebody that's one of the writers and the stars, and even the director and producer in some cases, I mean, I'm not saying with this, but with other horror projects, you can either get something that's pretty decent, or you get something that feels a bit like a vanity project. And while I'm sure that everybody in here are, they're good people, this was not good. This was not good at all. One, this is a Dread original, and Dread seems to be kind of trying to pick up the Scream box, thing of having halfway decent ideas and poor execution. I mean, I don't wish any ill upon them. Like, you can do horror projects like this if you want and try to turn a profit, but this wouldn't have even belonged back 20 years ago, because this is painful. Some of the worst line reading I've seen in quite some time. And also, what's really, really terrible about this is that it wastes a potentially decent premise about grief and, grief-stricken people, and maybe manifesting that with, some demonic horror and stuff like that. Kind of like The Deliverance. The Deliverance had a bigger budget. I would argue The Deliverance offended me more because I didn't expect much from this, and I expected more from that. Yeah, this won't even end up on my worst movies of the year list, but this is pretty goddamn painful. And the characters that are supposed to be villains are so painfully generic that you just can't help but laugh. And also, Leon has to be one of the dumbest goddamn characters. Now, yes, he's just a father trying to rescue his son and everything, but he'll just go from zero to hero and then back to idiot, like, really, really quickly. And it's like they had no idea how to keep the character motivations going. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking doing this, but they really should have put more thought into it. I mean, because this movie could have used a second draft. This movie probably could have used some drafts. Like in the bar scene at one point, everybody should have just drank. In fact, that might actually explain why everything was so goddamn bad, because maybe everybody was drunk. I don't know. But it's on Amazon if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, basically, Leon, and his son have a bit of a discussion. They see, this is after they're camping, they do see a brief shot of a couple Hicks. One that I do want to point out is named, the character's named Billy, Caitlin Lunardi, who goes by she, they pronouns. Let's respect pronouns here. And she at least seems to be having a little bit of fun with her role, or their role, I'm trying here. And their character is at least a little bit, at least gets enough screen time where you're like, okay, I can kind of see what they were trying to do there. But then there's like this early scene, like before Jesse and Leon are camping, where there are these three cultists that pull this body up out of this pit of hell that's like a cellar door, as you would just do. Yeah, let's just put a door over the mouth of hell. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. We don't have to worry if Grandma needs to go to the cellar and gets confused. We'll just worry about it. We'll just put that over here. So yeah, then we have a couple of people using heroin. One gets killed, one gets captured, and then we find out the captured one here is the woman named Tara. And yeah, go to the Appalachian Mountains, run into the Hicks, go camping. Jesse goes missing. And then Leon basically is just, trying to hunt down for his son. He runs into those Hicks. One is Billy. One is a guy that the amount of Confederate stuff and everything on the back of this truck is like, good goddamn God, boy, they really overdid it there. Granted, Appalachian Mountains, West Virginia, so I kind of maybe think that maybe they didn't overdo it. But then he runs into Charles Foster Kane. Where he goes, nobody knows. No, just a man named Kane. Not Legacy of Kane, Soul Reaver. Not Kane from the Final Fantasy with Golbez and going to the goddamn moon. How's that for references? A guy that offers to help him. But then it's obviously he's in on this whole goddamn thing. There's this evil cult-like thing called the Appalachian Grove Grid. Creative. Sure. So, yeah, after he basically tries to get answers from him, he ends up shooting him in the hand. And then the guy basically says, wait, come here, I'll tell you where your son is. And then he spits at him. And Tara ends up shooting him. It just, it's fine. Tara ends up shooting him and then ends up helping him. Says, hey, go to the priest. Go to this priest guy, Jedediah. And he talks about the cult of Bile. Yeah, that's what I felt rising up. So the original king of hell, and basically there was this kid named Damon that was sacrificed by his dad, Tom, the Piper's son, stole a pig and away he went. And yeah, Damon became the Hangman. And now, basically, the idea is cult can live forever. They can live in this mountainous region, live forever, have all the money they want. They just have to occasionally sacrifice people. The thing about it is I'm making it sound more interesting than it plays out because it does not play out well. There's also this old lady with like just scars on her goddamn eyes. It's like this seer, and she knows all the pain because Leon and Jesse's tension that led to him really feeling bad about Jesse going missing, besides the fact he's his son, is the mother died during a robbery, and we find out what happened a little bit later. But yeah, Esther, the psychic lady who has the crossed out eyes. And then suddenly, boom, the Hangman is in there and puts barbed wire and rope on the goddamn bed. Apparently he studied under Asushi Onita. Or he decided to deal with Terry Funk before. No, Terry Funk wouldn't have had anything to do with this. And yeah, the guy, the priest ends up getting killed, but not before he basically says, here, take this cross and stab him in the heart. If you're a man of faith, or you don't even have to be a man of faith, just take it. Take the cross and kill him. So then Billy basically finds Leon after this and drugs him. And then there is Tommy, can you hear me? Can you feel me near you? A doctor that says, I'm 127 years old. nobody would have helped the color man before I came along and all this kind of stuff. And look, there are elements of things that could work here, but the delivery and the editing and the writing and just everything from a technical standpoint is so bad. It's so bad. So yeah, they made a deal with the Demon for Wealth and Power, all that. Hangman basically just decides, I'm going to essentially just destroy, everybody. I'm just going to do that. I'm tired of this. Also, Hangman needs a new vessel. That's why Jesse's there. Jesse is captured. Tara ends up saving Leon by doing some shooting, stuff like that. They tease a brief romance, and to be fair, it would be hard to resist Lindsay because she is a beautiful woman, but that being said, they go away from that. Leon just instantly becomes a goddamn action hero. Nope, where are you going? I'm going to hell. Well, you owe me. Well, a rain check and all that. And that's fine. You could have a little bit of fun with that writing, but it felt forced. Felt so forced. And then there was talk of what Esther said, deep in the belly of the spider. Well, then he's writing all this stuff and finds out he drew a spider on this map. So, sure, there's a cellular door, or cell door, or whatever it is. Actually, a cell tower being the doorway to hell, the gateway to hell, probably would have been more creative. But then he ends up writing into Billy, who, again, Caitlin is pretty much trying to do everything she can with this role. But hey, we're going to play Hangman because he ends up capturing her, but then he ends up getting strung up on this, motorized wire, apparatus thing that they're using to lower people or raise people from the mouth of hell. And then he's hanging up, seemingly above a goddamn oven because he's saying it's really hot. Me so on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot. But then he has a crossbow and shoots her in the eye. And then she is controlling the wire, so he starts lowering, but then she falls into the goddamn fire after saying, let's play Hangman. And okay, racial connotations, that kind of stuff, okay, but nope, she just gets shot and falls in the goddamn fire, so forget that. Thanks for coming, Caitlin. Then he gets lowered into the fire, but then there's rebar that he holds on to, and who installed this stuff? So then he ends up dropping into hell. So a little bit earlier, we see actually what happened and how the wife ended up dead. Him and his friend were at a bar. They ended up basically not wanting to give up their seats to a white man that spent more money. And then this white man happened to overhear them talking about all this jewelry that the wife's grandmother left, or the wife's mother left, that is. Or maybe grandmother, I really don't know at this point, or care. But she ends up basically becoming the victim of this shooting when the guy breaks into the house, happening to find out where they live just instantly. And Jesse has been tormented by this. Leon has been tormented by this. And he says to Jesse, hey, look, I know you're hurrying. Jesse relives this stuff because he's in hell. Apparently hell is a sublet house. But whatever, it's fine. And then this is where things just get absolutely ridiculous, because he tries to rescue Jesse, and Jesse actually does get rescued, but then he's trapped in hell, and he's just going through various locations. In the house, he's getting shoved around, he's getting shoved in a barn, he's getting free, this chainsaw tries to get him, that doesn't work. He's freeing himself with all these weapons, and the editing is so goddamn bad in this. What in the world? Did you not look at this and say, maybe we shouldn't edit it like we're in a Mixmaster? But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine because we're almost at the end. Thankfully, thank fucking Christ. Just throw everything at the goddamn screen. I mean, we had him being hung, and then him freeing himself, and then him almost being chainsawed and all this stuff, and then he somehow managed to have the Hangman tied to the goddamn truck or tree, and he was trying to do something like pull him out or something or whatever. And then as a last act, basically he says, Damon, I know you're just a scared little boy and everything, and that makes Damon flash back with all this stuff of his dad, and then he rushes at Leon, and Leon stabs him with the cross. And yes, straight in the heart, motherfucker. And then he gets pulled out, and Jesse frees him, and then they get in the car that they stole from Kane, but Kane's dead, so he's not going to be using it. I don't think he goes back to Tara. At least not anytime soon. And then we get just a little bit of story, like, well, don't worry, son, I'll tell you everything, but maybe we need to go to the hospital. I think this movie need to be sent to the hospital. Possibly institutionalized. This is bad. This is really bad. For something that could have dealt with grief properly and could have done things, the Hangman should have actually worked at least as dumb fun. And it just ended up being dumb and nonsensical and really bad. So F. Still not on the worst movies of the year list, because there's been so much dreck. Agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.